students, welcome back to the chemistry class. In our last class we had discussed about VSEPR theory, but now today we will discuss our new topic, that is valence bond theory. The valence bond theory was introduced by Hitler and London and was developed further by Pauling and Slater. It explains the formation of covalent bonds. According to this theory, a covalent bond is formed when a pure valence atomic orbitals of one atom overlaps with pure valence atomic orbitals of another atom. Each of the overlapping orbitals contains the unpaired electron of opposite spin. The electron pair is shared by both the atoms. The strongest bond is formed when the orbitals of the two atoms overlap to the maximum extent. Let's explain the formation of hydrogen molecule on the basis of this theory. Consider two hydrogen atoms A and B. Approaching each other. Okay, two hydrogen atoms A and B approaching each other. Let us label their nuclei as Na and Nb, and the electrons present in them as Ea and Eb. Now, as these two atoms come closer, forces of attraction as well as repulsion begin to operate the nucleus of one atom and its own, and between Nb and Ea, okay, Nb and Ea and Na and Ea, and the nucleus of one atom and electrons of another atom, that is between Na and Eb and between Na and Eb and between Nb and Ea. Simultaneously, repulsive forces also arise between the two electrons Ea and Eb and two nuclei Na and Nb. Experimentally, it is found that the magnitude of the new attractive forces is more than that of the new repulsive forces. As a result, the potential energy decreases as the two hydrogen atoms approach each other. Ultimately, a stage reached where the nuclei remains at an optimum distance, such that the net force of attraction balances the net force of repulsion. At this stage, the system acquires minimum energy, and the two hydrogen are said to be bonded to form a stable molecule. If we try to bring these atoms still closer, then the repulsive force start overpowering the attractive force. Consequently, energy of the system increases, causing instability of the system. As energy is released during the formation of the bond between the two hydrogen atoms, we can say that the hydrogen molecule is most stable than the isolated two hydrogen atoms. The energy so released is called the bond enthalpy, which corresponds to the minimum as shown in the figure. It is important to note that the same amount of energy is required to dissociate 1 mole of hydrogen molecule. So now, overlapping. When S and P orbitals can be positive, negative or zero depending on the properties of the respective overlapping orbital. Based on the overlapping of orbitals, two types of covalent bonds are formed. These are known as sigma and pi bond. Right? Sigma and pi bonds. Sigma bonds are formed by the end-to-end overlap of atomic orbitals along the internuclear axis known as a head-on or axial overlap. These are three types of head-on overlaps that form sigma bonds. They are SS overlap, SP overlap, and PP overlap. SS overlapping takes place when two half-filled s orbitals overlap along the internuclear axis, right? So sp overlapping takes place when half-filled s orbitals of one atom overlapped with half-filled p orbitals of another atom along the internuclear axis. It means here, let's see, this is s orbital and that is p orbital. So now here sp overlapping. Now let's see the pp overlapping. In pp overlapping takes place between two half-filled p orbitals of two atoms along the internuclear axis. A pi bond is formed. A pi bond is formed when atomic orbitals overlap in such a way that their axes remain parallel to each other and perpendicular to the internuclear axis. So now here p pi bond is formed. The pi orbitals formed due to the sidewise overlap consist of two square type charged clouds above and below the plane of the participating atoms. Pi bonds can be formed in addition of a sigma bond between two atoms and are always present in molecules with multiple bonds. Let's see, here sigma bond and two pi bonds are present. The overlapping of orbitals extend to a larger area in sigma bonds than pi bonds. Therefore, sigma bonds are stronger than pi bonds. The overlap criteria of orbitals applies equally to both diatomic molecules and polyatomic molecules. However, the VBT fails to determine the actual shapes of the polyatomic molecules such as methane, ammonia and water, which are tetrahedral, pyramidal and bent respectively. Let us explain the above limitations of considering methane molecule. So here in methane molecule, the central atom carbon, right? The central atom carbon has configuration of 1s2, 2s2, 2px1, 2py1. In its excited state, the configuration becomes 1s2, 2s2, 2px1, 2s1, 2px1, 2py1 and 2pz1. The four unpaired electrons overlaps with four singly occupied 1s orbitals of the hydrogen atom to form 4CH bond. Like that, 4CH bonds. We know that p orbitals lie perpendicular to each other, hence the 3CH bond. Like that, 3CH bond in methane molecule are expected to be oriental at 90 degree to one another. The 2s and 1s orbitals of carbon and hydrogen atoms can overlap in any direction since they are spherically symmetrical. Thus, the direction of the fourth bond cannot be a certain. This means that all four CH bond in methane are not identical But experimentally it is observed that all the four bonds are exactly identical in all aspects and are oriented at a bond angle of 109.5 degree. Similarly, VBT, it means valence bond theory, cannot account for the current bond angles in water and ammonia. While BBT predicts to have a bond angle of 90 degree in them, the experimentally results suggest to have bond angles of 104.5 degree and 107 degree respectively. Thus, it can be seen that the valence bond theory fails to account for the actual shape of polyatomic molecules. During the research, scientists observed that some molecular structures found in nature could not be scientifically explained with the help of the existing understanding of atomic orbitals. So, Pauling, Pauling is the name of the scientist. So, Pauling introduced the concept of the hybridization of atomic orbitals to explain the existence of such molecules during hybridization, right? So now here, this topic, students, we will discuss in our next class. Okay, so I hope this topic is clearly understood to you. So thank you. See you in our next class. Bye bye.